everyone. My name is Li Lian, the Workers' Party candidate for Punggol East SMC. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm very heartened to see so many of you here today on the first night of our rallies. How time flies. I remember standing here in 2011. There have been many firsts in the last 4 years for me. In 2011, I contested an election for the first time under the Workers' Party. In 2013, I contested in my first by-election, and I became an MP for the first time. Thank you to the voters of Punggol East for giving me the mandate to represent them in Parliament. Thank you. I made my maiden speech in Parliament, voted on bills, debated the budget, all for the first time. I also had my first child. And now, I am standing for elections for the third time in 4 years. Wow! It has been quite an experience, but I'm very glad to be back here again. Along my journey, when meeting residents, I have come across many important issues that they have in common. The cost of healthcare, the cost of housing, the need for more elderly and childcare support are some of them. And I've raised many of these issues in Parliament. At the same time, on occasions, I've met individuals with challenges that fewer people understand and can relate to. People such as caregivers and Singaporeans with foreign spouses. These are groups of Singaporeans that I've kept close to my heart. They often struggle in silence. They are often judged and have few people to turn to. People like them are often overlooked by the policies we have in place today. Yes, Singapore has achieved much over the last 50 years. We are lucky and privileged to live in the country we do today. But with this good life, one thing is missing: empathy. Empathy for the underprivileged, the ones who fall through the cracks. Empathy when policies are being made because the government is overly focused on numbers and end result. Our current leaders lack empathy. Over the years, we met a number of residents, often male and earning lower incomes. Their wives are foreigners, and they are unable to qualify for long-term visit passes. They are often issued short-term passes instead, which require them to come in and out of the country. Situations for these families are often very sad. Many of these foreign spouses are female, and they have Singaporean children. There is no guarantee that the foreign spouse will be granted an extension of their visa. Imagine the stress on these families and the anxieties of young children who have to shuttle in and out of the country or face constant separation from their mothers who are on short-term pass. These families are unable to plan a stable life together long-term, given the constant disruption and unknown outcomes. I remember speaking to a resident in Punggol East who lamented that he is not able to get his wife a long-term visit pass. He asked me, "Is the government forcing me to leave the country with my wife and children just because I am not highly educated?" He also asked, "Should I stay and deprive my children of their mother?" Marriage is a choice that everyone has the right to make. I have raised in Parliament before that the criteria for application should be made clearer, but we have yet to see any progress. We need to be able to distinguish people who want to make a home here from those who just want to use Singapore as a transit point. We must, most importantly, protect our families. Another group of Singaporeans that are often forgotten are our caregivers. Caregivers include stay-at-home parents, grandparents, who are primary caretakers of our grandchildren, as well as individuals caring for dependent parents or relatives. Being a caregiver is a full-time job. There are physical and emotional challenges as well as financial ones. Many caregivers are unable to work due to their responsibilities. Almost half of around 200,000 of them in Singapore are unemployed today. The government today offers tax relief in the form of parent relief, handicap dependent relief, and grandparents caregiver relief. But these reliefs are regressive in nature. People with lower incomes benefit less from tax relief. This does not make sense as the lower income caregivers are most in need of financial support. And with many of them not working, tax relief is no relief to them at all. I have spoken in Parliament again about providing more financial assistance, subsidies, or CPF contributions to this group. And I will continue to speak for them if I can have the mandate to be elected back in Parliament again. Ladies and gentlemen, as a society, we have the responsibility to look out for the vulnerable among us. And it is the responsibility of the government to make decisions with empathy so that the vulnerable are protected, especially when families are involved. Fellow Singaporeans, I am standing here today because I believe in representing you. I believe in a compassionate society and in empowering your future by speaking up for you in Parliament. I believe in speaking up for fellow Singaporeans who, today, may not feel empowered to stand up and ask for support. I believe in a better Singapore that looks out for all Singaporeans. This can only be achieved if there are more voices in Parliament. Voters of Aljunied GRC, Hougang SMC, and Punggol East SMC, you empowered your vote in 2011, 2012, and 2013 respectively by voting Workers' Party MPs into Parliament. I am sure you have noticed changes that have been made by the PAP. Is this because they have become more empathetic over the years to your concerns and needs? Or have they woken up because of the power of your vote? Do we want a more empathetic Singapore? Do you want more leaders who will empathize with you and speak up for you when things are not going right? If the answer is yes, then empower your future, our future, and the future of Singapore. On 11th of September, help us turn the attendance tonight into votes for the Workers' Party. Vote Workers' Party, empower your future.